What's crazy is I used to watch motivational videos every single day for probably 3+ months. I would go running. I was actually during COVID, I was running over 10 miles per day because I wanted to be like David Goggins. I actually wanted to be a Navy SEAL. That was my dream. And then I was running 10 miles every single day. Plus, I started really getting in insane shape. I got down to 140 pounds, and I was shredded, but I wasn't eating. I was just retarded. And then right when things started to open back up, I went to try and apply for the military, and I got turned down right away because I have food allergies. I'm a soy boy allergic to peanuts and fish, which thank God, because I would have went into the military. But instead, once I said, yeah, you're not eligible to go to war and be a Navy SEAL, but you can join the intelligence program because you got a good score on your test. I said, no, fuck you. Fuck you. I wanted to be a Navy SEAL. I wanted to be David Goggins. I think everyone had a period of their life when they did that. But I was listening to motivational videos every single day. And then after that, I said, well, I also like these business stuff and macroeconomics. So I just went all in on that. And that's what I do now, a business. But super small decisions can completely alter your life and change the entire course, because I was 100% dead set on becoming a Navy SEAL. I was swimming every single day. I was running. I was dialed in. But that is not the path that was meant for me. And business, it's my favorite thing on earth. I literally live, eat, breathe. I dream about business. I love what I do. I am living my dream life every single day. I love the business that I'm in. I help super large businesses where I get to talk to some of the smartest, biggest business owners in the entire world every single day and provide them incredible amounts of value, where we're doing all their organic media and helping them get more customers. So I don't have any B2C offers, only work with super large businesses. And then because I was reading and listening to a ton of books on both macroeconomics and business, and the reason for that is I had no clue what the fuck was going on. The entire world shut down. COVID was coming through, and I was told that if I went outside, I was going to kill my grandmother. And that's what the mainstream media was saying, and none of that made sense. But for some reason, this guy, George Gammon, I stumbled upon one of his macroeconomic videos where all he did was explain what was going on in the economy. And most of those guys were very libertarian, which I didn't even know what that word meant. And they were explaining the libertarian argument as to why what the government was doing was super unethical in a way that made sense to me. And they were explaining COVID in a way that in my gut made sense. And I felt that it was right, even though I didn't know anything about anything. I trusted what they were saying much more than what the mainstream media was saying. It just made sense to me. And so I said, I have no fucking clue what they're talking about. But if I could figure this out, I might not know what I'm going to do for the rest of my life, but I'll have a better idea. And I genuinely had this conversation with myself. So I said, I'm gonna figure this out if it's the end of the earth. So I started trading and doing all these things, and I was actually making a lot of money. I turned like 5 grand into almost $50,000 pretty quickly, pure luck, actually accidentally, because the markets were crazy. And I said, I'm gonna be a hedge fund manager. That's what I wanted to do. I was reaching out to every single hedge fund manager in the entire world, looking to work for them. I was actually showing up at this guy, Larry something's office in Boston, where I was from. And I would drive into the office and I would try and catch him go in. And I wanted to just go up and have a conversation with him and tell him everything that I was thinking about and try and sell him for me working for him for free. And I was gonna pay him to work for him, but I couldn't even get past security. And this is crazy that this is coming back to me, because I actually forgot this happened, because that would have completely changed the trajectory of my life. If I found this guy and he agreed for me to work with him, I would be working as in a hedge fund and managing money right now. Completely different from what I do now. I was also reaching out to every single macroeconomic and every single big business person that I could find online, looking to work for them for free, looking to pay to work for them, looking to do anything. And some people responded to me. Some people in different spaces responded to me. But I really want to work for that guy, George Gammon. And he was having an event, so what I did is I got his logo tattooed on my leg, flew across the country for my first ever time on a flight when I was 18 years old. First time stepping on a plane, and I went to go and see him, show him the tattoo that I got before he knew who I was, and asked him to work for him. And then I still didn't start working for him. After that, I had some other opportunities that fell through. 8 months later, I started working for George, and there was unlimited super tiny decisions that would have completely altered the way of my life. And about a year and a half after working for George, and I started a second business and I was making a decent amount of money, I went to this big event with George, and there was this guy who owns a super large company that I think most people watching this video would know. And He has dozens and dozens of companies. This guy is properly loaded, and what he does is he finds great people and puts them in as the CEO position and trains them up in a lot of his companies. He said, "Hey Josh, I just bought a company. This is my first time meeting you guys, by the way. This is my first time meeting the guy, and I'm gonna actually be seeing him next week." But I was talking to him and he said, "I have this company. I want you to be the CEO. Right now we're doing over $1 million a year in revenue. I love what you're doing. I love to train you up. Here's what's happening. You'd be the CEO. I'll match whatever income you're making right now." And instantly I turned him down. That, if I took that offer, my life would be completely different. And the reason why I turned him down is because I spent 1.5 or 2 years starting to build momentum with the skill set that I was currently learning. And I wasn't going to start from scratch on something new. I knew the compound interest of the amount of time spent and learning. What I was really learning once I started working for George was how to grow organic media. Because it doesn't matter how good your information is or how good your credibility is. It matters if people watch. So what's the psychology of getting someone to watch? And then I got really, really good at that and helped everyone in the space. And I was starting to build some momentum and my reputation was getting exceptional. And then I started to get some really good opportunities to start to really make more money. And I turned them down. And the next week after that, I hit my first $25,000 a month because a lot of my efforts were starting to come to fruition. And I took on one new client. We did a big thing and I made a ton of money. It was actually on my birthday when this happened. I forget which year. It was a few years ago. And I thought I was just on top of the world. And then you continue to go down. And there's always these pivotal moments that at the time you just brush by. But if you go down that direction, the entire altercation of how your life ends up is going to change. And what I do is I just always trust my gut. Every single time, whatever my gut says, I just follow that. And it has never strayed me away. Everything that you know always happens. I mean, anything that my gut says always happens, or even if I don't know it. You could say this is not a good person to be around. Don't be around them. I don't like to party and go to clubs, so I don't do it. I always would have bad feelings because I don't like being in these super big social settings with tons of young people around. I do much better at nice dinners where we're sharing good conversation, especially with older people. I enjoy hanging out with older, successful people because we think more similarly than other 22-year-old kids. I mean, it is ridiculously hard for me to relate to other 22-year-old kids. I can talk about brain rot things, which I do see on my Instagram and I enjoy talking about once in a while, but I love thinking about business. I want to grow business. I want to do all these things. And the only other people who do that are my 50-year-old friends that run businesses doing hundreds of millions of dollars per year. And so it's just amazing how the path dependency upon the decisions you make will have the biggest outlier outcome on how your life turns out. It's really bizarre looking back at it.